The sun hung low over the Capsule Corporation training grounds, casting long shadows across the cracked earth where two Saiyan warriors clashed. Gohan, his muscles taut with exertion, dodged a swift punch from his younger brother, Goten, before countering with a spinning kick that sent the boy skidding backward. Sweat glistened on Goten's forehead as he steadied himself, his Super Saiyan aura flickering like a candle in the wind. "Come on, Gohan," he panted, grinning despite the fatigue. "You're holding back." Gohan exhaled, his dark eyes narrowing. He had spent years balancing his scholarly pursuits with his warrior's instincts, but lately, something primal stirred within him. The power he had once feared, the raw, untamed fury of his Saiyan blood, was calling again. "All right," he murmured, his voice low. "But don't say I didn't warn you." With a sudden roar, Gohan's body convulsed. His golden hair darkened, shifting into a wild, silvery white mane as his pupils vanished, replaced by an eerie, bestial glow. His muscles swelled, veins bulging beneath his skin as a crimson aura erupted around him, scorching the air. Goten's breath hitched. What is this?" he stammered, taking an involuntary step back. Gohan didn't answer. Instead, he lunged, his speed beyond anything Goten had seen. A fist collided with the younger Saiyan's gut, launching him into the air before Gohan appeared above him, driving an elbow into his spine. Goten barely had time to scream as he cratered into the ground, dust billowing around him. Gohan landed lightly, his breathing ragged but controlled. The beast form, an evolution beyond Super Saiyan, a fusion of his human restraint and Saiyan savagery. Goten groaned, pushing himself up on trembling arms. His Super Saiyan aura sputtered, his body protesting the abuse. "That's insane," he coughed, wiping blood from his lip. "Since when could you do that?" Gohan's transformation receded, his hair returning to its usual black as he offered his brother a hand. "I didn't plan it," he admitted. "It just happened. Like my body remembered something it had forgotten." Meanwhile, across the city, Trunks and Goten's twin in age, Goku's youngest son, Goten, sparred in a secluded forest clearing. Goten flipped over Trunks' energy wave, retaliating with a rapid volley of ki blasts that forced the lavender-haired half-Saiyan to weave frantically. "You're getting slow, Trunks," Goten teased, landing lightly on a tree branch. Trunks smirked, powering up to Super Saiyan. "Dream on." He vanished, reappearing behind Goten with a roundhouse kick that sent him crashing through the foliage. Goten recovered midair, his golden aura flaring as he charged back, fists blazing. Their battle was a blur of motion, punches and kicks exchanged with the precision of lifelong training partners. Yet, despite their skill, something gnawed at Goten. As they paused for breath, Trunks noticed the distant look in his friend's eyes. "What's up? You've been off today." Goten sighed, deactivating his transformation. "It's Gohan. He's reached this crazy new level, and I'm still stuck at Super Saiyan. Even Dad and Vegeta are pushing beyond. What if I'm falling behind?" Trunks crossed his arms. "So? You'll catch up. We always do." But Goten's doubts lingered. That night, under the stars, he stared at his hands, willing them to ignite with the same overwhelming power Gohan had displayed. Yet nothing came. Was he destined to remain in his brother's shadow? Unbeknownst to them, far beyond Earth's atmosphere, a sinister presence stirred. A cloaked figure observed the planet through a scrying orb, their lips curling into a smile. "The Saiyans grow stronger," they mused. "Perfect. Let them sharpen their fangs. Before we break them." The screen faded to black, leaving only the echo of a challenge unspoken, and a storm brewing on the horizon. The battlefield trembled as Gohan's golden aura flared, his muscles bulging with raw power as he unleashed his beast form for the first time. Across from him, Goten struggled to keep up, his Super Saiyan 1 transformation paling in comparison. "Brother, you've gotten too strong." Goten panted, wiping sweat from his brow. Before Gohan could respond, the sky darkened, a massive energy signature descended, shaking the earth. "That's not me," Gohan muttered, eyes narrowing as a figure clad in black armor landed between them, cracking the ground. It was Broly, but something was wrong. His usual wild demeanor was replaced by eerie calm, his green eyes glowing with unnatural intelligence. "Broly? What happened to you?" Goten asked, stepping back. The berserker didn't answer. Instead, he lunged at Gohan with terrifying precision, his fist connecting in a brutal uppercut that sent Gohan skidding across the battlefield. "He's not himself." Gohan growled, barely blocking the next strike. Then, a voice echoed from above. "He's mine now." A cloaked figure descended, Babidi, his grin twisted with malice. You Saiyans are always so predictable. A little mind control, and your strongest becomes my weapon. Goten clenched his fists. You're gonna pay for that. He blasted forward, but Broly intercepted him mid-air, slamming him into a cliffside. Rocks shattered as Goten coughed, struggling to rise. Gohan roared, his beast form flaring brighter. Let my brother go. He fired a Masenko, but Broly swatted it aside like a fly. Babidi cackled. Fight all you want, Broly's power is limitless. Desperate, Gohan switched tactics. He feinted left, then used the terrain to his advantage, kicking up a dust cloud to obscure Broly's vision. For a split second, it worked. Broly hesitated. Gohan seized the moment, delivering a crushing elbow to his spine. Broly staggered but didn't fall. Instead, he retaliated with a point-blank energy blast that sent Gohan crashing through 3 boulders. Goten, finally recovering, saw his chance. He flew at Babidi, fists blazing. You're the real problem. Babidi yelped, barely dodging. Foolish child. He raised a hand, summoning a barrier, but Goten's punch shattered it, sending the wizard tumbling. Got you. Goten grinned, until Broly's hand clamped around his throat. And no. Goten choked, kicking uselessly as Broly's grip tightened. Gohan, battered but not beaten, dug deep. I won't let you hurt him. His aura exploded, shaking the earth. He vanished, reappearing behind Broly with a devastating axe kick to his shoulder. Broly snarled, dropping Goten, who gasped for air. Thanks, he wheezed. Gohan nodded. We need to work together. The brothers stood side by side, Gohan's beast form radiating power while Goten focused, trying to push beyond his limits. Let's do this, Goten said, forcing his aura to spike. His hair flickered, almost reaching Super Saiyan 2. Broly charged again, but this time, they were ready. Gohan sidestepped, using Broly's momentum against him, while Goten delivered a spinning kick to his ribs. Broly roared in frustration, lashing out wildly. Babidi, watching from afar, scowled. Enough of this. He raised his hands, chanting. A dark energy enveloped Broly, enhancing his rage. The berserker's muscles swelled further, veins bulging as his power skyrocketed. Oh no, Gohan whispered. Broly's fist met Gohan's gut, sending him flying into a lake. Water erupted as Goten screamed, Gohan. He tried to follow, but Broly grabbed his leg, slamming him into the ground over and over. Just as hope seemed lost, a familiar voice cut through the chaos. Need a hand? Vegeta landed with a smirk, his royal blue aura shimmering. Took you long enough, Goten groaned. Vegeta cracked his knuckles. Let's see what this beast can really do. He transformed into Ultra Ego, his power surging. Broly turned, sensing the new threat. The two titans clashed, fists blurring, shockwaves ripping apart the landscape. Gohan emerged from the water, panting. Vegeta's here? Good, we can end this. He joined the fray, landing a haymaker on Broly's jaw. Goten, though bruised, wasn't done either. He flew in, distracting Broly with rapid ki blasts. Focus on Babidi, Gohan shouted. If we break his control, Broly might snap out of it. Vegeta grinned. Fine. You two handle the wizard, I'll keep this monster busy. He unleashed a flurry of punches, driving Broly back. Gohan and Goten nodded, darting toward Babidi. The wizard sneered. You think it'll be that easy? He summoned a swarm of energy orbs, but Gohan weaved through them, beast form making him untouchable. Goten, though slower, used hit-and-run tactics, keeping Babidi off balance. Finally, Gohan closed the distance, his fist glowing with raw power. This ends now. He struck Babidi square in the chest, sending him crashing. The dark energy around Broly flickered, the berserker stumbled, clutching his head. Where? Broly groaned, his eyes clearing. But before anyone could celebrate, the ground split open, a colossal hand emerged, followed by a monstrous figure. Oh no, Vegeta muttered. Majin Buu. But different. This Buu was taller, his body lined with black markings, his grin dripping with malice. Babidi, bleeding but alive, cackled. You fools. You've awakened something far worse. The battle wasn't over, it had only just begun. The battlefield trembled as Gohan, his body wreathed in the raw, untamed energy of his beast form, lunged at the monstrous Cell Max. His fists crackled with power, each strike sending shockwaves through the ruined cityscape. Beside him, Goten, still clinging to his Super Saiyan 1 transformation, dug deep, forcing his body beyond its limits as he dodged a barrage of energy blasts. We can't keep this up forever, Goten shouted, sweat dripping down his brow. Gohan gritted his teeth. We don't have to, just long enough to buy time for the others. The plan had been simple, weaken Cell Max until Piccolo and the others could activate the Dragon Balls. But now, as Gohan felt the beast form's energy flicker unpredictably, doubt crept in. The power was immense, but unstable, like a wildfire threatening to consume him. Across the battlefield, Cell Max grinned, his crimson eyes gleaming with sadistic amusement. You think this is enough? You're still just children playing at being warriors. His voice was a distorted growl, laced with something darker, something familiar. Then came the twist, the moment that shattered everything. Cell Max's body convulsed, his form twisting grotesquely as a new energy surged within him. A voice, cold and mocking, echoed from his lips, not Cell's, but Frieza's. Did you really believe this was just another mindless beast? The revelation hit Gohan like a physical blow. This wasn't just Cell Max, it was Frieza's experiment, his revenge. The true enemy had been hiding in the shadows all along, pulling the strings. Goten stumbled back, his breath ragged. Frieza? But, how? Gohan's mind raced. This changed everything. Frieza had always been a tactician, a predator who struck when his opponents were weakest. And now, with Gohan's beast form wavering and Goten exhausted, they were vulnerable. The battlefield fell eerily silent for a heartbeat before Cell Max, no, Frieza's puppet, launched his real attack. A wave of razor-sharp ki blades erupted from his fingertips, slicing through the air with deadly precision. Gohan barely managed to shove Goten out of the way, taking a deep gash across his chest. Blood splattered the ground as he hissed in pain. Goten, fall back. We need a new plan. But Goten shook his head, his fists clenching. No. We can't let him win. His body flared with golden energy as he charged, his movements desperate but determined. Gohan watched, torn between pride and fear. Goten was strong, but against Frieza's cunning, raw power wouldn't be enough. Then, from the rubble, Piccolo's voice cut through the chaos. Gohan. The Dragon Balls, they're ready. Hope flared in Gohan's chest, but it was short-lived. Cell Max, Frieza, reacted instantly, firing a massive energy blast toward the distant lookout where the Dragon Balls lay. No, Gohan roared, forcing his body to move despite the pain. He wouldn't make it in time. But Goten did. With a scream of defiance, Goten teleported directly into the blast path, his arms outstretched. Kamehameha, the explosion swallowed his words, the shockwave hurling Gohan backward. When the smoke cleared, Goten lay motionless, his Super Saiyan aura flickering out. Gohan's world shattered. Rage, grief, and guilt collided in his chest, fueling the beast form's resurgence, but this time, it was different. This time, it wasn't just power. It was purpose. As Frieza's laughter echoed across the battlefield, Gohan rose, his eyes burning with unyielding resolve. You're going to pay for that. The fight was no longer about survival. It was about vengeance. And Frieza had just made the biggest mistake of his life. The battlefield trembled as Gohan's aura erupted in a violent crimson swirl, his muscles bulging with raw power as he fully embraced the beast form. Across the scarred wasteland, his younger brother Goten struggled to keep up, his Super Saiyan 1 flickering against the overwhelming pressure of their enemy, Cell Max, a monstrous evolution of the original android, now towering over them with a sadistic grin. Pathetic, Cell Max sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. One of you barely scratches true power, while the other... Well, let's see if you can back up that transformation. Gohan didn't waste time with words. He lunged, his fist carving through the air like a meteor, but Cell Max twisted midair, narrowly avoiding the blow before countering with a crushing knee to Gohan's ribs. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground, but Gohan gritted his teeth, channeling his rage into a point-blank energy wave. The explosion engulfed Cell Max, but the dust cleared to reveal him unharmed, his laughter echoing. Goten seized the opening, darting in with a flurry of punches, each strike precise, but Cell Max swatted him aside like a fly. You're outmatched, child, he taunted, before hurling Goten into a cliffside with a sickening crunch. Gohan's vision burned red. You'll pay for that, he roared, his energy skyrocketing as he unleashed a relentless barrage of ki blasts, forcing Cell Max on the defensive. The android retaliated with a volley of his own, the energy beams clashing in mid-air, detonating in a blinding storm. Gohan burst through the smoke, his fist colliding with Cell Max's jaw, sending him reeling. But the monster recovered instantly, his tail whipping around to ensnare Gohan's throat. Predictable, Cell Max hissed, tightening his grip as Gohan gasped for air. Goten staggered to his feet, his body screaming in protest, but he refused to stay down. His father's words echoed in his mind, strength isn't just about power. It's about heart. With a desperate cry, he forced his energy higher, his golden aura flaring erratically. Let go! He screamed, and in that instant, his hair spiked further, his muscles tightening as he ascended, Super Saiyan 2. Lightning crackled around him as he rocketed forward, slamming a devastating elbow into Cell Max's ribs. The android howled in surprise, his grip loosening just enough for Gohan to break free. The brothers stood side by side, their energies sinking. Now, Gohan, Goten shouted. Nodding, Gohan unleashed a colossal Kamehameha, while Goten fired a Masenko at the same moment. The combined beams spiraled together, a devastating helix of destruction. Cell Max crossed his arms, bracing, but the force was too much, his body was driven backward, his armor cracking. Yet, as the smoke cleared, he rose again, his form now warped with rage. You insects, he bellowed, his power surging beyond reason. The ground split beneath him as he charged, his fists a blur. Gohan and Goten dodged in unison, weaving through the onslaught. Gohan feinted left, drawing Cell Max's attention, while Goten circled behind, delivering a crushing axe kick to the android's spine. Cell Max roared, his tail lashing out, but Gohan intercepted it, snapping the appendage in two with a brutal twist. Enough games. Cell Max spat, his body suddenly glowing ominously. If I can't crush you, I'll take this planet with me. Realization struck the brothers, Cell Max was self-destructing. Time seemed to slow as Gohan and Goten exchanged a glance. Without hesitation, Gohan grabbed his brother's shoulder. Trust me, he said. Drawing on every ounce of the beast form's power, he focused, his hands glowing with a radiant energy. Now, Goten. Together, they unleashed a final, cataclysmic attack, a sphere of pure destruction that engulfed Cell Max mid-detonation. The resulting explosion lit the sky, the shockwave rippling across the world. As the dust settled, Gohan collapsed to his knees, his beast form fading. Goten, barely standing, offered a weak smile. We did it. Gohan nodded, exhaustion weighing on him. But as the smoke parted, a shadow loomed, Cell Max's core, still intact, pulsing with unstable energy. The brothers' eyes widened. No way, Goten whispered. Before they could react, the core detonated. The blast wave hurled them backward, the world dissolving into white. When Gohan's vision cleared, he saw Goten lying motionless. Rage, despair, and something deeper, something primal, ignited within him. His body erupted in a new surge of power, his beast form returning, but different. Darker. Stronger. You will not hurt my brother again, he bellowed, his voice shaking the earth. Cell Max's remnants reformed, but this time, fear flickered in his eyes. Gohan moved faster than thought, his fists a storm of vengeance. Each strike shattered the android's body further, until, with a final, earth-shattering punch, Cell Max disintegrated into nothingness. Silence. Gohan dropped to his knees beside Goten, his heart pounding. Then, Goten coughed, his eyes fluttering open. Took you long enough, he groaned. Gohan laughed, relief flooding him. The battle was over. But as the sun set, a shadowy figure watched from afar, their presence unnoticed. And the real threat still loomed. The battlefield trembled as Gohan, his muscles bulging under the strain of his beast form, locked eyes with the monstrous Cell Max. The air crackled with energy, the ground beneath them scorched and shattered from their earlier clashes. Across the ruins, Goten struggled to his feet, his Super Saiyan aura flickering weakly. I can't keep up, he muttered, frustration burning in his chest. Cell Max roared, his massive fist crashing toward Gohan, who barely dodged, the shockwave sending debris flying. Gohan's breath came ragged, his beast form was powerful, but even he had limits. Goten, he shouted. I need you to buy me time. Goten clenched his fists, forcing his aura to flare. I won't let you down. He launched forward, landing a desperate flurry of blows on Cell Max's legs, but the bio-android barely flinched, swatting him away like an insect. Gohan's heart pounded. He couldn't fail now, not when Earth's fate rested on his shoulders. Memories flashed, Piccolo's training, Goku's sacrifice, his family's smiles. His rage ignited anew, his beast aura exploding in a crimson storm. This ends now. He rocketed forward, fists blazing, each strike carving deep into Cell Max's armor. The monster staggered, but retaliated with a point-blank energy wave. Gohan crossed his arms, gritting his teeth as the blast seared his skin. Watching from the sidelines, Goten felt helpless. His Super Saiyan power paled in comparison, yet something stirred within him. His father's voice echoed in his mind, "Strength isn't just about power, it's about heart." Goten roared, his aura surging unexpectedly. Golden light erupted, his hair lengthening. Super Saiyan 2. "I won't be left behind." He charged, slamming a devastating kick into Cell Max's side, cracking its exoskeleton. Gohan seized the opening. Channeling every ounce of energy, he reared back, his hands glowing with a final, cataclysmic Kamehameha. Now! The beam erupted, a spiraling torrent of destruction. Cell Max howled as the energy consumed him, his body disintegrating into nothingness. The explosion lit the sky, shaking the planet. Silence fell. Gohan collapsed to his knees, his beast form fading. Goten stumbled to his side, panting. "We did it." Gohan managed a weary smile. "Yeah. You did it." The brothers clasped hands, the weight of their victory settling in. In the aftermath, the universe reeled. The Red Ribbon's remnants were scattered, their ambitions crushed. On Beerus' planet, Whis observed with rare approval. "Interesting. The sons of Kakarot have surpassed expectations." Beerus yawned. "About time." Back on Earth, Bulma analyzed the battle data. Goten's breakthrough changes everything. If he and Trunks train together, who knows how strong they'll become. Meanwhile, Gohan stood atop Kame House, gazing at the horizon. He wasn't just a scholar anymore, he was Earth's protector. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear, the legacy of the Saiyans had evolved. And this battle was only the beginning.